What is more dangerous to a man, the enemy who declares his hatred, or the friend who smiles while sharpening a knife? Many believe deception is rare, but in truth it surrounds you, hidden behind laughter, flattery, and feigned loyalty. The false man is not easy to see, for he thrives in masks, and he survives by telling you what you most desire to hear. Yet his presence is a poison, silent but fatal, waiting for the moment when your guard falls. If you wish to endure in this world, you must learn the art of unmasking. Listen closely, for I will show you how. Men are deceived most easily not by blades, but by tongues. Words are the most abundant weapon in the arsenal of the false, and they will drape themselves in the language of loyalty, of friendship, of love, for such words cost them nothing. Promises are spoken in air, and air has no weight. A man who is hollow within can speak endlessly of honor, and yet possess none. It is the great error of rulers, and of ordinary men alike, to be seduced by eloquence, for it creates the illusion of virtue where none exists. To discern the true nature of a person, one must learn to pierce beyond their declarations and observe the record of their actions, for conduct cannot be so easily counterfeited. If you wish to know who serves you, and who waits only for opportunity to betray you, look to their behavior when no one compels them, when no reward lies before them. Words often paint the picture of devotion, but actions reveal whether the hand is steady or treacherous. The one who speaks of loyalty yet cannot be found in small moments of need has already declared his nature. Do not expect him to stand when the storm breaks, for he has already abandoned you in the calm. The truth is that a man's character reveals itself not in declarations made in daylight, but in choices made unseen. Consider this: the flatterer bows deepest when you are strong, for your strength offers him something to exploit. Yet, when you stumble, he hesitates, calculating if your fall serves him more than your rise. This hesitation is the language of his true allegiance. Watch closely in such moments, for the mask slips. The loyal man does not require you to stand unshaken in order to remain by your side. His constancy does not shift with the winds of fortune. Do not be blinded by those who decorate themselves with honeyed speech. Many will swear loyalty to you when the cost is nothing, for such oaths demand no blood. But when the moment arrives that demands sacrifice, their absence will thunder louder than any words ever spoken. Therefore, train yourself to weigh deeds above promises. A man's action is a coin forged in reality. His words are but shadows cast against a wall. The false man will reveal himself if you but learn to stop listening and start observing. Count not the times he speaks of devotion, but the times he has quietly shown it without an audience. Pay heed not to how he greets you in triumph, but how he stands beside you in misfortune. To know truth in men is not difficult, but it requires a discipline few possess, the ability to ignore the melody of language and hear instead the silence of action. If you learn this, you will never again be deceived by the theater of words, for the stage may be false, but the performance of life never lies. Trust, if it is to be real, must be earned, never assumed. The greatest mistake a man can make is to hand over confidence too freely, for men are loyal not to you, but to the advantage you represent. To separate the genuine from the counterfeit, you must devise tests small in appearance, but decisive in their revelation. Offer an opportunity where there is no glory to be gained, no profit to be reaped, no praise to be collected. In such a moment, you will see clearly, for the false man will not move unless there is reward in sight. It is in the small risks, the unseen sacrifices, that loyalty proves itself. If you ask for discretion in a matter of no great consequence, and it is broken, Imagine what will happen when the stakes are high. If you entrust a minor task, insignificant in the eyes of the world, and he fails or abandons it, what would he do when the burden is heavier? Do not be deceived by those who perform great acts in public, for there they act under the watchful gaze of reward. Instead, study how they conduct themselves when no recognition waits for them. The clever ruler and the wise man alike never entrust their safety, their secrets, or their fortunes to untested hands. They understand that men reveal their nature when they think the matter is beneath notice. The loyal man considers nothing too small to merit his constancy, for his loyalty is not measured in the scale of profit, but in the weight of principle. The false man spares his strength for occasions that might return him gain, and he will abandon you in the shadows where no eye records his betrayal. You must therefore learn to make these trials subtle. A direct question may invite only another lie, but an unnoticed test forces instinct to betray him. Watch how he speaks of you when you are absent, whether he carries out duties that promise no benefit, whether he gives when there is no applause to be earned. In these hidden corners lies the truth of his allegiance, and when you find one who fails these trials, mark him well. Do not excuse his failure, for a man who cannot be trusted in the smallest of matters will one day ruin you in the greatest. The smallest cracks in a wall are the heralds of collapse. So too, the smallest disloyalties are signs of greater treachery to come. The art of discernment is to see the seed before it becomes the tree. By testing men with small risks, you uproot the false before their deceit can grow strong enough to endanger you. It is by such vigilance that you preserve your power, your circle, and even your life. If you wish to know the true soul of a man, do not watch how he treats his equals or his superiors, for there he is masked by fear and by ambition. Instead, observe him with those he does not need, those who cannot advance him nor endanger him, the powerless, the voiceless, the forgotten. In such moments the disguise slips, for there is no calculation to restrain cruelty or contempt. The man who flatters you but mocks those beneath him has already revealed his nature. He does not respect loyalty. He respects only advantage. Many men polish their words when speaking to those who may serve them, yet spit venom when addressing servants, workers, or strangers. This is the purest sign of fraudulence, for kindness that depends on profit is not kindness, but theater. He who humiliates the weak is a coward disguised as a friend. Such a man will betray you without hesitation when the tides of power shift, for his respect is not earned by character, but by fear of consequence. The wise ruler, therefore, does not allow himself to be dazzled by courtesies shown to him directly. He studies what others overlook: the dismissive tone given to the lowly, the arrogance toward those with no defense, the impatience toward those who cannot strike back. These small moments are revelations, for they are actions taken without expectation of reward. There the heart is naked. Remember that a man who sneers at inferiors will one day sneer at you. Once you no longer stand above him, his loyalty is an illusion, contingent on your present power. The moment that power wanes, he will treat you as he treats the weak, for that is his truest instinct. Those who respect only authority can never be trusted as companions, for when authority shifts, their allegiance shifts with it. Do not be deceived by excuses or by rare gestures of mercy from such men. Their cruelty, even if occasional, is the mark of their essence. It is safer to surround yourself with those who treat even the powerless with measured dignity, for such restraint is born not of calculation, but of character. A man who honors the lowly without need has already proven the constancy of his spirit. Therefore, look not to how men bow to you, but to how they act when no bow is required. In the way they regard the powerless, you will see your own future reflection in their eyes. The truest measure of a man is not found in how he shares your struggles, but in how he responds to your success. Many will stand beside you when you are broken, for pity costs nothing, and your weakness does not threaten their pride. Yet, when fortune lifts you above them, when your victories shine too brightly, envy begins to gnaw at their hearts. It is here that the mask of friendship crumbles, and the counterfeit ally reveals himself. The false man cannot rejoice in another's rise, for he sees in it the proof of his own smallness. His words may still be sweet, his lips may still form congratulations, but his eyes betray the wound. You will notice it in the way he falls silent when others celebrate you, or in the faint shadow of displeasure that crosses his face when your name is praised. Such subtleties are worth more than 1,000 oaths, for envy cannot be hidden forever. It leaks through silence, through mockery, through the poison of faint praise. Take note also of those who seek to diminish your triumphs. They may disguise it as humility, saying, "Do not become proud," or they may cloak it in jest, mocking what they secretly resent. But every attempt to lessen your achievement springs from the same root, the bitterness that you have succeeded where they have not. A loyal companion shares in your elevation, for he sees your fortune as part of his own. The false one resents it, for it casts his mediocrity into sharper relief. Envy is more dangerous than open hostility, for the enemy declares himself plainly, while the envious man waits in silence, smiling as he sharpens his dagger. He will remain in your circle, perhaps for years, concealing his bitterness behind masks of affection, until the opportunity arrives to strike. And when it does, he will betray you with greater ferocity than an open foe, for envy festers in the shadows and grows into hatred. Therefore, study carefully the faces around you when fortune favors you. Do not be blinded by applause. Listen instead for the silences. The man who grows quiet at your triumph is the same who will be loudest at your fall. The one who celebrates your victories as if they were his own is the only ally worthy of trust. Learn this truth. Failure reveals pity, but success reveals envy. And it is envy, not pity, that has destroyed more rulers, more friendships, and more empires than any army ever raised. The counterfeit man cannot bear to be constant, for constancy requires truth. And truth is a weight he cannot carry. Instead, he shifts himself like a chameleon, becoming whatever he believes will serve him in the moment. In one circle, he praises a man as though he were a saint. In another, he condemns the same man as though he were a villain. Such a one imagines himself clever, for he believes no one will notice the contradictions. But duplicity leaves a trail, and it is by this trail that he may be detected. If you wish to uncover a false man, do not confine yourself to how he speaks in your presence. Seek out what he says when he thinks you are absent. A person who exalts you before your face, but diminishes you to others, has already mocked himself as an enemy. Know this, the lips that flatter you today will spit venom tomorrow. The man who adjusts his loyalty depending on who is listening has no loyalty at all. He is a reed bending to whichever wind promises him gain. This inconsistency is not merely an annoyance, it is a danger. For if he can alter his mask so easily among small gatherings, what prevents him from doing the same among your rivals, your enemies, or those who would gladly see your downfall? The false man is always rehearsing, performing one role here and another there, and in this performance he loses all principle. What he calls adaptability is nothing more than cowardice disguised as charm. By contrast, the man of truth remains the same in every circle. He does not need to calculate his words, for his speech springs from conviction, not convenience. With him, you always know where you stand, whether in agreement or in opposition. The loyal man does not wear different faces depending on the company he keeps. His constancy is a fortress, and within it you may rest secure. Therefore, when you suspect deceit, do not look only at how one behaves toward you directly. Compare his conduct across circles, across time, across circumstances. Inconsistency is the surest footprint of fraud, and once you trace it, you will see his path clearly. And remember, the man who speaks ill of others in your presence will one day speak ill of you in theirs. Trust not the one who changes faces as easily as garments. Such a man is not your ally, but your risk, for he who is many things to many people is loyal to none. When you have marked a man as false, do not waste your breath on warnings, for warnings are gifts to the deceiver. To confront him openly is to grant him time, to give him space to weave excuses, to rally allies, and to strike first. The wise do not announce their judgments, they execute them. Removal must be silent, precise, and sudden, like the blade of a dagger in the dark. Only then does the false man discover he has already been cast out, powerless to resist or retaliate. Hesitation is the companion of ruin. Many are destroyed not because they fail to detect deceit, but because, after detecting it, they delayed their hand. They hoped for change, they sought reconciliation, they entertained pity. But a snake does not become harmless because you hesitate to crush it. It merely coils tighter, preparing to strike. Mercy toward the treacherous is cruelty toward yourself. Therefore, when you are certain of disloyalty, act without noise. Do not announce his faults to others, for in doing so you create factions, you rouse sympathy, and you stir conflict where silence would have secured peace. Instead, sever the bond quietly. Withdraw trust, cut off access, and remove him from your circle as though he had never been. Let him find the door already shut, the path already blocked, the circle already sealed. His isolation will be his punishment, and his surprise will be your protection. The power of quiet removal lies in its finality. A man who is publicly accused may fight, defend himself, or poison others against you. But a man who finds himself suddenly excluded has no ground to stand on. He fades without glory, without allies, without resistance. His ruin is his own, yet it carries no noise back to you. This is the art of survival. Do not quarrel with the treacherous. Do not grant them the theater of open conflict. End them with silence, and you will never have to raise your voice or your blade, for the most effective strike is the one delivered before the enemy even knows it is coming.